Okay, thank you so much. So did you guys enjoy that Kahoot? Yes? All right, so I know we got some more in the pipeline. So be sure to be paying attention because you never know when one's gonna pop up because we like to give away stuff around here. So make sure y'all are paying attention. So we have our morning workshop, choices, decisions, and consequences. And we are going to start that right about now. Jada, you got the slides? Can you show those? I gotta mute myself. Why? Just put it. Well, don't make him scream no more. Don't make him scream no more. All right. So choices, decisions, and consequences. I know a lot of times people bring you these words. I don't know if we actually understand the differences between choices and decisions. So we're going to go through an exercise this morning. So first, give me the definition of choices. Can anybody, don't move the screen yet. Can anybody tell me what they define choices as? And don't be scared.
We gotta type it or we say it?
I'm sorry? Mikey, what'd you say?
Do we type it or we say it?
I want you to tell me. Say it. Because I can't see y'all.
A choice is like a decision.
A choice is like a decision. In what way? What do you think? In what way?
In what way? Choice is like what your opinion is, then you decide to take action.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So give me the definition of choices, Jada. Next slide. So a choice is a noun, an act or an instance of choosing or selecting. Her choice of a computer was made after months of research, or his parents were not happy with his choice of friends. The right, power, or opportunity to choose. The child had no idea about had no choice about going to school. So when we're talking about choices, we're talking about the process in which we go through selecting things, right? So if, say you wanted to get a new iPhone, your choices are rose gold, black, or silver. Your decision is out of those choices, which one have you selected, right? Does that make sense to everybody? And I can't see you, so maybe if it makes sense, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat so I can know that y'all are listening to me. Perfect. So go to the definition of decision, and I'm not going to read all the way through it. I just want y'all to see it because I just explained it. Next slide, please. And then when we're talking about the decisions that we make, we're talking about the act or the process of deciding, a determination, or the act of needing or the need to make up one's mind, right? And go to the next slide. We're just gonna breeze through it because I know we took some time with the Kahoot, and I want to try to get to the action part of it. So we understand that consequences are a direct result of our decisions, right? So consequences can be positive or negative based on what it is that you've selected. And so knowing that, we have a few scenarios that we want to talk about with you guys. Let's go to scenario 1. Trinity Mosby, if you're in here, can you read this one for us?
Hold on, the chat. Tyrone and Marquis are in the back of the class discussing their assignment. Ms. Bell assigned them for the weekend. The assignment was to create a family to present to the class Monday, or family tree to present to the class Monday. As Timmy, their classmate, was walking around the door, he stopped and said, "Hey, Marcus, in order to complete this assignment, you have to know your whole family. Do you know who your father is? What do you do?"
So let's think about it. They were given an assignment in class. The teacher gave them what they were supposed to do, complete a family tree, right? And Zach, you have your hand raised. So give me one quick second and we'll come right to you, Zach. So a lot of times you guys were talking about yesterday these microaggressions that you are experiencing on your campuses. And so I want you to think about this, not just as children who experience it, but Brianna, I want you to look at it in terms of what would you do, or what do you think you could do as an ally to someone in this situation? So we'll go to Zach first. Zach, what do you do? What choices, before you answer, give me a couple of choices in this instance that you have before you. What choices do you have in your response to this?
Well, one would be take it to offense, because they could be racially profiling you. Or you could just answer it like a regular question. Or you could say yes or no, but explain to them that someone can take it as you're racially profiling.
Okay. So your choices, as you stated, you can answer the question directly. You can, and I was thinking you may respond emotionally and lash out and smack somebody, but you didn't say that. Or what was the third one you said?
I said you can answer the question normally, but then you can say that could be taken to offense to the wrong to certain people.
Okay, so you're saying respond with grace. I got
you.
Raven said, or you can ignore them. I saw somebody said you could hit them. And those are all choices. So say what decision would you make in that situation?
I would go for my third answer.
So you mean respond with grace?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then think that through. If you respond in grace, what are the possible consequences, good or bad? I see you, Wale. I'm gonna come to you too. We'll come back to you, Zach. Think about what some possible consequences are for that. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up with y'all's comments. So Kendra, you gonna hit him.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's your decision. Now let's talk about some consequences to your decision. What are some possible consequences to your decision?
He could get severely hurt, and now you gotta deal with that.
Okay. So he could get really hurt. That's it? You think that's the only consequence? Now remember, you're at school. What possible consequences could you face from your decision to react emotionally and violently?
I could get in trouble, kicked out.
Okay. Kicked out, or are you talking about kicked out of class? Because that's one thing that could happen. So expelled or suspended, right?
Mm-hmm.
What else could happen? Somebody else? Anybody else know?
She could get beat up.
She could get beat up. She wasn't ready for them hands to react. Okay. What else?
He could tell his mom.
I'm sorry?
He could tell his mom.
He could tell his mom, and she could tell her mom. And then we all be just a bunch of moms up at the school chilling.
Yeah.
What else? What else do you think? Alex, you said ask him why he said that and then school him. That's your decision? That's what you're gonna do? So what are the possible consequences of that?
I don't know. He could look dumb.
He could.
Or he could say something else sarcastic back, really irritating. Then I don't know what would happen after that.
Okay. So you anticipating a negative response.
Yes.
What if he responded by saying it was just an honest question? Do you think that you've now created an opportunity for dialogue?
Yes.
I mean, because you can't
also
somebody who's not listening, right?
Yeah. But I think I'd also tell him, like, that's not the way to ask, because it comes off wrong. It doesn't sound right the way he asked it.
All right. Someone asked, "What would how would I have responded in 10th grade?" Well, I am not the savage that I am today. I was not the savage that I am today in 10th grade. Let's just say that. But I don't know. I think when I was coming up and I was you guys' age, I was a lot more into caring what people thought about me and caring about how I was perceived. So I don't think I would have responded negatively. It might have hurt my feelings and I might have responded emotionally, maybe crying because I was such a crybaby back then. But I think that you all have a double layer because you all have to deal with what's going on around you constantly being putting your face on social media 24/7. We didn't have that. The worst we did was pass notes. We had pagers, and we could put little 3-digit codes, 143 or whatever in the pagers. But in terms of the things that you all have to deal with in the constant, I guess the constant images of things that you have to deal with, I think the situations are a little bit different. Sheila, you said you can make up a father figure. Talk to me about that. Not Sheila, that's Alan. Alan, you said you could make up a father figure. Now, why would you make up a father figure? Is it embarrassing? Do you think that's an embarrassing question?
I would say because some people don't like talking about like what happened with their real father, or they don't want to get like they want to be in a confrontational because some people don't like being confrontational.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So in order to not be confrontational, you would make up a story. That person, you would say that person could make up a story to try to maybe deflect. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, got you. Let's move to the next. I know y'all have your hands up, and I'm so sorry. Let's see. Now he knows better than to ask that. So Trinity, what you talking about? Who knows better than that? I'm missing all these comments. I'm sorry. I'm not really.
Well, I said that, Timmy, because I said that because someone, I remember someone made a comment and said that, like, why would you ask that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he knows, like, that was a deliberate question. You know why you asked that. That's what I feel like.
And what is it? What is that called? When people ask things like this, what is that called?
What do you mean?
What is it called? When people ask things like this, like, do you know who your father is? What is that called?
Like racial profiling?
We talked about it yesterday, family. What is it called when people ask things like this?
A microaggression.
A microaggression.
But I was, I forgot what I was saying.
That's okay, love. Yeah, it's a microaggression because it's based on a stereotype that Black folks don't know who their father is because of so many single mothers. And we can talk about the war on drugs, we can talk about the deliberate government programs to keep the fathers out of the home, but we're not going to get into that right now because we only got a couple minutes. But I think that a lot of times there's this assumption that we just don't know, and so they do that to demean us in the eyes of other people. And Wale, I see you have your hand up. Did you want to add on to this before we move to the next slide?
Yeah. What I was gonna say was like, you could just go with the basic like milk story that he went to go get milk and then come back with it.
Oh, he went to go. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Okay. But I mean, usually like, I don't know. I don't really take stuff like that serious. Because, it's just a question. I mean, I don't really trip. Because it's like.
But this is what we're talking about in terms of backhanded compliments. A lot of times they're doing things to try to make you feel like you are less than them in some way, shape, or form. So everything, honestly, if I could impart anything into you guys today, everything is not funny and everything is not a joke. And some things you should not take as jokes. You should not allow yourself to be the butt of the joke to make someone else feel superior, in a sense. And then somebody said go with the milk story. And then Zach, you said, if I reasoned gracefully, he would, one, say sorry and say he would not do it again, or he would say, you did not have to take it that seriously. But life is serious. And so we're not going to continue to allow folks to make us seem like something's wrong with us for responding in the way that we respond. But we have to remember to respond appropriately. And sometimes that means keeping our emotions in check. So let's go to the next scenario, please. Let's see. Devin, if you are in there, can you read this scenario, please?
Yeah. Erica is used to being the only black girl in the friend group. After school on Friday, they decided to go to the mall to find a new outfit for the school dance. As soon as they hit the mall, they headed to their favorite store, Forever 21. While shopping rack to rack, Tiffany notices that Erica is being followed. What should she do? What could an ally say?
Let's see. So what's happening here? Who's that talking?
Aliyah.
Okay, Aliyah, let's go. What you think?
Personally, just thinking in that like mindset, I would ask, okay, well, in the polite way, I would say like, do you need something? Okay.
You don't have an attitude, Aliyah.
I would say like, do you need something? Do you have a question, or are you just standing there? Like that would be me. But as like an ally for her in the moment, I'd be like, is something wrong? I don't know. But I think I think she should ask the person who's following her, what does she need?
You think Erica should ask, or do you think Tiffany should ask the person why they're following Erica?
Yeah.
Why do you think they're following Erica?
Because they think she's stealing.
And then Melissa said followed by a regular person or like a store worker or something. You tell me. Is there a difference between the store worker following them and a regular person following them? Is there a difference?
No, I was just looking for clarification just because, like, I don't know if I would handle it differently. I was just wondering if there was going to be any difference.
Right. And I'm asking you, does it make a difference?
No, of course not.
Okay. And I'm just asking because a lot of times, you know, people see conduct of just like a different, a well-meaning person different than a store associate. But the problem is they both assume they have the same amount of power to monitor and check black bodies. So the confront the follower for being nosy. Okay, Tia, you gonna confront her? What you mean? What you mean, Tia?
Okay. I mean, obviously, she's not gonna go up to the person and obviously ask them why she's following her because Erica's black, and that can lead to a lot more conflict than when her other friend will go up to them and talk to them, because obviously she has privilege. She's not being followed. Erica is, so if she steps in the middle of that, it's gonna be a lot better than Erica going off on the person who's following her.
So you're saying that Tiffany needs to step in. So Brianna, I'm put you on the spot again. What should an ally do in that situation? If you were Tiffany, what would you do?
I think that I would confront the person who was following her. If, because I don't know if this person is safe, so like I have to use my judgment, because if I didn't think that the person following her was safe, I would probably suggest that we leave, because I don't know, like, if the person following her is trying to hurt her or something. So if I thought that the person was, like, safe, I would, like, confront them and ask them, like, what are they doing? Why do they feel the need to do this? Or I could bring it up to a person working at the store and, like, get their attention so that they could help.
What I loved about your answer is you talked about assessing the situation to make sure it was safe before you responded. And I think that is critical, because a lot of times we don't know who we're dealing with. A lot of times we want to respond, but sometimes we have to use kind of like step back and really assess what the dynamics are before we respond. And I think I talked to you guys about the other day, and maybe I didn't, maybe I've just been doing a lot of student groups lately, but you have to understand that you guys, in the eyes of the law, you guys are children. I know a lot of times Black students aren't seen as children, but you're a child. And so the power dynamic is a lot different. So I would say you need to find an adult to balance out that adult energy. A lot of times y'all want to just pop up and pop off, and you're entering a power dynamic in which you will always lose because you're children. So assess the situation. I love that. Kendra, you said if the situation blows up and the authorities are involved, then I think you meant Erica, then Erica would still be the one negatively policed. Talk to me about that.
I forgot I even comment, but
oh girl.
No. But just like if who's it, Tiffany, if Tiffany flashes on whoever's following Erica, and like they get to arguing, and let's say it escalates and police are involved or authorities and law enforcement, then Erica, assuming she's the only Black one in the situation, will be the one negatively impacted. Like I don't know if Tiffany is white, I'm not sure, but if she is, and the person that's following Erica's white as well, and the authorities are called, the situation looks a little different when Erica's the only Black one. And so she will be at the bad end of the stick, and she would get the extreme policing.
Right. I get it. I just want to
make it worse.
I want you to explain that a little bit to me. So I think that it's definitely important that before you guys call yourself going off on anybody, that you take a step back and you assess the situation. If they are not impeding your ability to leave, I would not spend my money in a place that allowed that type of conduct towards me. So you guys have to be strong enough to walk out and leave stuff. I know you want it, but sometimes you're going to have to leave that behind to make sure you get yourself to safety. I like that, Brianna. Next scenario, please. And we're going to ask Alana, can you read this one for us, please?
Okay. Jay and Jasmine were passing notes back and forth and giggling every time they read a new line during their class lecture. Their teacher, Miss Parker, noticed Jasmine laughing and wanted to know what was so funny. As she approached her, she noticed the paper filled with notes and asked to see. Miss Parker snatched the note off Jasmine's desk, and Jasmine started to protest. Miss Parker told her, "Get out."
Let's talk about it. What choices does Jasmine have in front of her at this point?
I think Jasmine doesn't have a lot of choices, but one thing that I probably would do is just say, well, like, I wasn't the only one. And like, that puts you in a weird situation as a student, because first of all, I don't think I should have to acknowledge that I wasn't the only one, because you saw that we were both passing the notes. But also, like, as far as if these are her friends, and then it's like, oh, you're a snitch. So like, it's like, yeah.
So,
and like, I think with friends and like peer pressure, that's like a difficult thing, because it's like, you know, you don't want to lose your friends, and like, it's easy to say, like, you know, friends are just friends, but also like, it's easier said than done. So like, yeah.
So,
or she could also bring it to someone, like another teacher, faculty, or staff, and say like, hey, I don't think that was fair, and like, you know, try to bring another adult into the situation, because it's easy to dismiss a child's opinion because they are a child.
Okay, so what you just said is that her choices in front of her are to plead her case or bring another adult in. But in the caveat of pleading her case, you said, well, I don't know, because, you know, I don't want to be seen as a snitch, and I don't want to lose my friend. So you think, for some reason, you think that by acknowledging that it was more than just you, you run the risk of losing a friend. So is that your friend? Okay, because I'd be wondering about y'all's friendships nowadays. Chloe, you have your hand up.
If that happened to me, I would just be like, why me? Like, there were obviously other people passing the notes. So like, why do I have to leave the classroom? Because I'm not the only one at fault here. And then like, if my friends like did get mad at me for it, I'd be like, then why do I have to get in trouble, but you don't? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I see it that way. And then other than that, I could just like leave the classroom and go wander around campus, and then the teacher could get in trouble for that.
So you gonna wander around campus, or you're going to acknowledge that you weren't the only one again. And I see a comment in the chat, Tia. Let me find it. You said that you could apologize for disrupting. I think that's what it said. Yeah. You could have explained what the notes were and apologize for interrupting, and at the same time the teacher was wrong for yelling at her and sending her out before giving her time to explain. Do you feel, and you guys can type a 1 in the chat, do you feel that a lot of times situations involving Black children, you guys are not able to explain your side of the story before they react to you? All right, Jamie, I see all them ones. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, because I see that too. A lot of times when people complain to us about what's going on their campuses, a lot of times they say they never asked me what happened, and I was given this XYZ punishment. I see, Zach, you have your hand up. What's up?
Well, like I typed in the chat, if like they were an actual friend, they would say, oh, she wasn't the only one, it was me too, so you don't have to only get mad at her. But she didn't say that, so she didn't really care if she was the only one who got in trouble.
Right, I agree. Kendall, your hand is up.
They don't. Well, for me, like, I've been in this situation before, and they always listen to like people who they know have like a good reputation in the school, instead of asking the people who were involved. Like, they listen to one side of the story, and then the other person gets in the most trouble, and they get in that.
Okay, I can dig that. Haley Thomas, your hand is up.
Yeah, so like from what I think like the student should just not like be totally like accepting of the punishment if they think it's unfair, but like if they're being sent out, like they should just step out, and then the next decision to make is to have that conversation with that teacher and explain to them how they're feeling about their punishment, or whether or not their punishment was fair, and maybe they can find a solution from there. But like I don't think it's like it should be as big as like in the moment you should be saying, well, she did it too, or I don't think that's something you should be arguing like in the moment.
Okay, so you're saying to go ahead and accept the punishment, but to circle back and speak to that teacher. I would advise you to take your mama or somebody like me in with you, so we can provide that cover, because again, you are facing an unequal power dynamic, and y'all will never win that. Just understand that. Understand life. Alana, your hand is up.
Yeah, I've also faced like another type of situation like this, not necessarily like where anybody else was involved, but where I had on a hair scarf at school, and it was the last class of the day, and my teacher told me like to take it off or get out of class, and he was going to send me to off-campus suspension for uniform violation, and I was completely dressed in uniform that day, and he sent me to the dean. Like, if he made it this whole big deal, and like I had to call my mom, but I mean, it's kind of sucks in situations like this where it's just like, okay, I'm being sent out of class and I'm missing learning opportunities for myself because this teacher wants to act a certain way towards me for whatever reason. And I think I was the only Black girl in that class.
Imagine that. Huh? I said, imagine that.
Yeah, and then so
Uh-oh.
He basically made me reason with him by saying like just take it off and go back to class, because there was literally like 20 minutes left. So in situations like that, I guess it is like a power dynamic where it's just like, okay, well, what are you gonna do? What else do you have to do? There's not really any choices left.
Okay.
Listen.
Okay. So we have a couple more minutes. I want to get to Amara's hand and then move on quickly to the next scenario. Go ahead, Amara.
Oh, you can skip me. It's fine. You can go to the next thing.
Okay. Thank you for helping with that. Scenario 4. Let's see. Glenn Jackson Jr. Can you read this for me? Is he still here?
Jason Jackson, who is 6'2" and built like a linebacker, is a new incoming junior at Mount Everest High School in El Camino. The coaches of the football team approached Jason and tried to recruit him to become the newest member on the team. Jason declines and tells them his passion is piano and he wants to play in the piano conservatory.
So he wants to
The coaches then laugh at Jason and tell him he had a better shot of making it out the hood with football than being some artist. What should he do?
All right. What choices does he have? What choices does he have? Elijah, you have your hand up. What choices does he have? No.
So he can say, well, he can point it out and put them on the spotlight and try and get other people's attention for his microaggression. Because assuming that he lives somewhere in the hood is a microaggression itself, because not every black person lives in like the ghetto or something.
Gotcha. But what are the other problems with this? What are the other problems? Jamie?
My bad.
Taylor?
You could still make it out the hood by being an artist. And who said that he lived in the hood in the first place? He even said that.
What other stereotypes do you think he fell into? What other assumptions did they make about him before they even asked him what
he was an athlete?
A lot of our boys are built like athletes. What else? What other choices? What other choices does he have?
Maybe that he's like, they think that he's not smart enough to like do anything else.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that he's a student was like completely overlooked, because music or football, he's still a student and he can do better in school than actually in football, but I guess.
Yeah. Anaya, what do you think? Anaya. What about Johanna? What do you think about it?
I think that basically I feel like he like stereotyping, and even if he's black, it doesn't mean that he lives in the hood. You could live anywhere, being any skin color or race. And I feel like just because you're a boy, you don't have to be as masculine as all the other boys that play like all those sports. You can do piano or violin or anything and still be just like the boys that play football and basketball.
The question in the chat is, do you think he will face consequences for declining the coach's request? That's a great question. Anybody want to take that?
Okay,
hold on. There's a lot. So do me a favor, raise your hand, but I do want to go to Jordan. Jordan, what do you think? Do you think he could face consequences?
Yeah, I think he could face consequences.
Like what?
Wait, you were talking about the coach, right?
I'm talking about the child.
Oh.
I think
just depending on where he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people might think like heavily down on him, but other people might support him just depending on where he is.
Have you guys heard of coaches getting mad at athletes because they didn't want to do what they wanted them to do? Have you heard about those type of scenarios?
Only sometimes.
Only sometimes? Have you, so Aaliyah says she's not heard. And I can't think of the coach. There was one coach in the South somewhere, and he had been recruiting these black boys to come and play for his school. And the boys, because of the way that they were being treated, they wanted to transfer someplace else. And he basically talked all kind of mess and told him he was going to make sure he could never go to any other school, that they weren't going to pass him out of their classes, that they were going to somehow sexually assault him in the locker room, just all this crazy stuff. How many of you know that black bodies are commodities on these school campuses? They're things that are used to make money. How many of y'all know that? You know, Tia? Samuel knows? Okay. Why do you think that is? You got your hand up? Who is that? Aaliyah?
Yeah, I think so. At my school, I go to a predominantly white institution.
You go where?
And to like a predominantly white institution. And so they use the black people at school as like the token, like they use black students to like pull in people so that they can get higher. Am I frozen? Okay, can you hear me? I'm sorry, it froze for a second. Okay. So I was saying that at my school, they tend to use the same black people to bring in more people to say that we have diversity when there's not that many students. Like at school, you can count on your hands how many black students there are. And so that's like a way that I see it, but like they don't really value the black students at campus. They just use us so that they can profit off us to bring in these other students and say, oh, we have these numbers, when they really don't.
Okay. What else? What else do you think? Brianna, what do you think?
I think, well, I'm not really sure, but I think that schools get more funding for like having more diverse students and more students with lower income. So I think that they could use black students to get more funding from the state.
Okay, Brianna, I see you. Alex, what do you think? Do you think that they use black students to get more funding for their schools? Did she step away?
That just makes it sound like we're some sort of tool or something to get them what they want.
You are. We are tools. Yes, we are. That's why they had to pass bills in the legislature to make it okay for NCAA athletes to be paid for their labor in the school system, in the NCAA. The NCAA is a multi-million-dollar 501c3, a nonprofit. And these kids cannot eat. They cannot have people pay their bills. They cannot get help with their rent to make sure that they are able to do what they need to do to be successful. So that's why they're running bills to make it okay that they can use their own likeness to generate money for themselves. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that they pay these coaches at these colleges over $1 million and that the athletes are having eating? Are y'all aware of this? Nobody?
No.
Wait, can you repeat that last part again? Because you were breaking up.
Oh, I was breaking up. Am I okay now?
Yeah.
And I think it's because feedback coming through. I was asking, Do you all know that these coaches at the college level are making over $1 million in most cases, and the athletes cannot even feed themselves? Do y'all know that? Do you know that they were making money off of these kids in terms of these video games that they are selling to consumers? Zach, go ahead and unmute your phone for me, honey, because there's some feedback coming through. They make these video games in the likeness of these kids' image, and they tell these kids they can't profit off of their own image. So other people are exploiting them for their phenotype, making money off of them, and telling them, I can use you, but you can't use yourself. Does this surprise anybody? Hello? Speak to me. Talk back to me.
Yes.
No.
No.
No, it doesn't.
No.
It's not.
What are you,
Not at all.
as young people who are getting woke to what is going on around you, what are you willing to do to change it? That's what I need y'all to think about.